Good morning. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for those who are joining us for our chart room. We just finished our daily reading. We're going to start with Ethereum, and let's pull up our charts. If you ever want a different template, this is going to be the model that I'm going to be using for our book, The Sword Method. I was trying to find just the right kind of balance for color and working, oops, not that one. Oh, okay. And working with the book, I want to have something that's good for the background. I think I'm deciding on this one. So currently that's the one I'm using for the image notes in the book.
Isn't the background too bright?
So it looks like this. It would be a bit too bright for our class. So for our class, we're gonna show you, but I'm gonna show you quickly how to do a alternate template for yourself. So if you ever want to practice charts, you don't want to mess up your other charts, you just want to kind of practice with some charts, get some stuff out of the way, you can do one simply by clicking this button right there. Okay, it's going to be this image at the bottom right there. Okay, and I will just give this to you really quick. So this is always how you can make new charts for yourself. It's going to be that one. Okay, and when we make those new charts, then from there it's going to pop up this screen, and we can type in, come up to this area here in the little corner, okay, and we're going to click on that symbol and we're going to click on new. Okay, so you can click on new if you want to. You can also click on copy if you have everything just the way you like it. So if you have everything like it, just click on copy. Once you have it here, it will show up by clicking on load, and when you load, it's going to give you all of your practice copies that you've used over the years or whatever chart template you want, but they're all going to be here. Here's the one we use for dive, specifically for dive, but there's one for book, here's one for practice, here's another one for practice. Sometimes I want to play around with an idea, maybe you want to play around with an indicator, maybe you don't want to clutter up your charts, and your charts do limit you on TradingView to about 2 indicators per screen, or maybe you want to try a multiple layout. This is how you can do that. So once you create it, it'll show up at this place. If you make a new copy, you can rename it in that same space by clicking this button and then clicking rename. You'll rename whatever the copy is. Here, this one's called Book 1, which is part of my Sword Method book. The original image notes were blue, then I moved them to red, but for my book I'm going to be here with this white one. That's what I've decided on yesterday for the final images that I will be uploading and their addresses thereof. But for right now, we're going to go back to our dive copy. So you may want to have one JSON's images and then maybe have one for your own, or if you want to combine them, it's fine. But if you ever wanted to rename them to anything, just click rename. But those are how you do those. So load, new, make a copy if you already have something you like. Since I have most of everything we like, I'm going to load this image. We're going to load the dive image here. So I'm going to click on dive, and that's going to come up. So if you already have one saved, it'll be saved, and it's going to pull up one of your last charts. Here's a chart of OXT, and it looks like some weaknesses entering OXT as it's coming down to its next angle down here. This is going to be the last event angle, and this is going to be the support. So that's how we can do that. Now, when we want to add other indicators, Melody was telling me I didn't have any way to add the volume. It wasn't coming up. So if you double tap your screen or just click in the background and double tap, it should pull up your volume if you already have it. If you don't have it, it's going to show up in this section here under object tree, and if it'll show up here in one of these tabs. So if you already have it, it's going to show up here, and it's going to show up in your object tree. Here's where you can move stuff around. You can even delete stuff right away. I can delete some trend lines if you wanted to. I can delete the volume if I wanted to. So I click delete. Now I'm left with just the RSI, and you can always squish them, but if you just want that full screen, just double tap on your chart, it'll go away. Double tap, it'll come back. Your indicators will come back.
How would the name learning in the background?
The name in the background? Yeah, we'll add that up. Okay, and then I'll show you that. Let's finish going through here. I think it's going to be this one. So if we want to now add those indicators again, remember you can always just come to this tab right here for indicators. And this is how you can add some of your favorite indicators. Just a quick tutorial of this. From that page, this is where you can save your indicators that you like as favorites, or things that people send you and you say, hey, try this, or look at that, or something like that. Volume here is already on here, so I just click on volume and it's going to pop up. But you're saying, well, Jae-Sung, it's in the wrong spot. I don't want it covering my price. I don't like that. I want it to go away when I don't want to see it. I want to see it when I want to see it. So what you do is, if you look on here carefully, you're going to see up in the corner, it's going to say volume. And what you can do is you can either click up there and get that volume, or you can just click on the volume itself and it's going to show where it's at. So you can see there's a little black tab here. You're going to click on the button, the three dots, and these 3 dots, we're gonna see this menu, and we're looking for the one that says move to. Move to, we're going to click on, and we're going to click on new pane below. Now I can move it to new pane above, and I can move it up there, and then I can click on the 3 dots and I can say move to existing pane below, and then again move to new pane below. So whether you want it up top or below, that's how we can move indicators around. That works for all indicators. So if you want to have these charts the way you want them. If I only wanted to see volume, now I can just double click in the background, and now my volume becomes big, and I can scale it likewise. Okay, so that's how I can just isolate the volume, double click, and then double tap again my screen, and everything goes just to how I want it. Now I said I can't read this in the background, it's not big enough for. I want like you have in the background, that so that I can easily see what cryptos we're looking at. For that, we're going to look at this spot right here. We're going to come down to our settings in our lower right hand corner, and it's going to be this button here. So just remember, this is how you start for the more settings. Okay, more settings, and from there we will click on that button. Oh, not that one. Click on that button, and then once we're here, we're going to go to make sure logarithm is on, and then more settings again. So even more settings, and then we're going to finally get to this menu. So this is the important menu. In this menu, we're going to go to canvas. All right, canvas right there, and where it says watermark, we're going to click on the button that says ticker. And then I want intervals, so I know what type of chart I'm looking at, weekly, a monthly, daily. Alternately, you can add description, which has like a bunch of it, but I just ticker and interval are good enough for me. And then you can, when we move this around, you're going to see it's actually in the background. Now, this color doesn't show up really well on red, so what we're going to do for that is we're going to simply change the color and the opacity by just clicking the color next to that, and we can bring up the color really nice. And maybe we got this pink in the background. It's soft on the eyes, especially late at night. You don't want really blue lights coming onto your eyes if you're protecting your eyes, and I think that's going to be just good enough. I think we're going to use this color. We can also use a gray color if we wanted to, but this is nice enough, and I think I got the opacity just where I want it. It doesn't need to be super overpowering. Just needs to be something, and in my face, it just needs to be something in the background that I can see what I'm dealing with, and that's going to be good enough for me. From there, we'll close it, and all the settings should be right. If you ever have questions about specific settings, and you're saying, hey, Jae-Sung, I can't find this, shoot me an email, j.song7784@icloud.com, and we'll get right to this and help you with that setting, or we'll look into it at the very least and try our best. I hope that helps. I love you guys. Have a great day. God bless you.